ways to like use Silver Leaf Poison early on, or keep control of the board early on.
Well, let's see if Zhym can get the damage and the pressure rolling quickly enough to fight back against BabyBear. I think BabyBear does kind of occupy one of the a very interesting spot in the European practice group scene, where again, as one of the Belgian players, there's very often very close ties to the French community and the French-speaking community. You see a lot of the time with her grinding through many of these qualifiers, with obviously a lot of success getting to a bunch of the Masters tours, that it's often French players she's attributing some of the decks to, some of the lineup strategies overall that she is collaborating on. And it's cool to see her doing well in one of the Masters tours here. A player who I think has flown under the radar for too long here, and getting a 3-1 score. She could start to get off to a really nice run here if she can end the day at 4-1.
So
Yeah, picks up
options.
the Swine Tusk Shank as well, which is pretty much the perfect card in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really liking the way the hand's coming together. The only thing is this Octobot. She doesn't want to give value over to Zhym. But is it worth enough to like coin coerce?
Right.
Are there like other important cards in the matchup that won't just be dealt with by the Shank? But she's going to keep it as is, equip the weapon, and see what happens next.
I don't know. I was really tempted by coin coerce then, because obviously you can make it so that there's nothing for the Octobot to attack into for the next 1-2 turns anyway. But they can self-activate it, right? If you just kill this off right at the start, the entire hand just becomes, the vast majority of the time at least, very, very clunky.
Yeah. That it does. Zhym faced with an awkward decision here. Cold Neophyte that can just get dealt with on... It's not like a key turn that you need to reduce the spells, because Zhym is not protecting anything. He's protecting his Octobot, which is pushing... Whoa!
You put that step down, mister.
Okay, if he steps, he's not going to play it again. Because he wants to start this field contact next turn, especially if this Octobot gets activated.
Is that really worth it more than like field contact step instead? Because if you go field contact step...
Probably not.
Right, because you get to go Foxy as well next turn, which means you get 2 draws at least at getting a combo card to go alongside it. Like, maybe he just won't do it at all next turn. He might be saving up for 2 turns' time to go in with the field contact. But, I don't know. This is very manner inefficient and getting 0 pressure on the board in the meanwhile.
Oh!
Okay.
I think you activate it, right?
You do it, right? Yeah. Foxy Fraud can come... Oh, no, wait. You can't get the Fraud down either. Yeah.
No, but you have another field contact in hand for next turn. I mean, he could also just like Shadow Step Cold Neophyte and then start off with like field contact next turn, but I think you just get this activation while you can.
For sure.
Just keep rolling through. Oh!
This could be getting somewhere. It's a slow hand for BabyBear. She can't just ignore the board quite yet and point everything face, because it's a little bit too high pressure of a start. There are some powerful plays, though. Prep Coerce into the Plunderer is a very powerful swing.
I think it was Paralytic Poison, though. Looking for some more impactful swing turns with the Prize Plunderer. But just going to play that also. Gives a little bit of power on board. All right, here we go. Zhym going to draw his deck.
This is the juice. This is what you're looking for. This is absurd amounts of card draw now. And obviously, we are looking for Jandis, Kazakus. Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, Derek.
Mancrick as well, I suppose. I would keep
Are we just calling
running.
cards now?
But my feed froze for a second, so the joke's done. Flurry honestly looks a bit more tempting to me, just because you can freeze a stealth minion, perhaps, which is difficult to interact with otherwise.
Yeah. I think I want to step the Neophyte again.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. The only other thing I would consider is like stepping the Octobot and just keeping it in hand so that you can make this hand a lot cheaper. But to be honest, this hand just kind of plays itself. It doesn't really need a mana reduction.
Yeah. This is starting to get scary for BabyBear, though.
Yep.
Even though you're usually playing board control in this matchup at the beginning anyway, damage doesn't start to go to face and still until you really start ramping up the attack of the Swine Tusk Shank. But she doesn't even have really any weapon buffs in hand. Wandmaker obviously can get Paralytic Poison or... Boom! Wait, that costs 2! Ooh. Just kidding.
Give me that. Look what I want.
Eric, you thought for a sec that I found a game-breaking bug. I know it.
Nope, I just thought your brain was bugged again.
Happens all the time. All right. Whoa.
Kazakus into 1, I would guess. Looking for +1/+1.
Yep. Probably taunt.
Whoa. This is damage. This is huge amounts of damage. But even then, it still might not be enough because BabyBear just has Swing Face, Taunt into Wicked Stab, plus the Sinister Strike as well. It's huge amounts of damage that she can swing for.
Well, if you picked taunt on this Lesser Golem, a 1/1 taunt is the most annoying thing to deal with as a weapon rogue, because where are you going to find that 1 damage? You're going to Wicked Stab it? You can coerce it.
Yeah. I think you might prep coerce it, honestly. Oh! Yeah. So it's 10 damage, 18 with the Wicked Stabs, 24. It's 2-turn lethal. If you have the mana to do it, you can just go Cloak of Shadows, coerce. It's just lethal.
Oh my god. You can coerce the 1/1 to get through.
That's so sick. And to be fair, I was consistently saying that she should coerce earlier on in the game. There were 2 turns where I really wanted to throw it down. I may have lost that game because of it. Obviously, it deviates rapidly. Maybe Zhym would have had less pressure on the board, so she would have had more time anyway. But this is pretty sick, I've got to admit. And there's no room even for Jandice. Do you have to go Flurry Brain Freeze on your own minion just to try and make room for 1 shot at a taunt?
Can't even flurry.
Oh, it doesn't let you play it. Oh.
So has to go 10 woo on the Kazakus, then brain
right.
Zone minion.
So you go 10 woo on the Kazakus, and then get a 1-cost golem and look for...
The Guardian Aug Merchant is 2/1, thinking that would create board space. No, it doesn't create any board space. You just replaced a 2/1 with a 2/1.
Come, friend. Let's see what you've got.
Trying to think what breakpoints this plays around. Obviously, he may just not be dead, in which case trying to slow down the card draw. Maybe it's like her hand is Swindle or Secret Passage. Like, I think this is a reasonable way to go about it. Not necessarily sure it was the best, but it's not going to matter. BabyBear just has lethal. This is the way the matchup goes. You think you have a chance as the Miracle Rogue. You build up a huge board, and then you die.
Yep. And makes you think why Weapon Rogue wasn't brought by more people as opposed to Miracle Rogue. But if you look at its matchup spread versus the decks that are popular in the metagame, it's not like that great, right?
Yeah.
And if players have even just a couple slight tech cards for it, you're going to struggle. But I actually have a feeling we're going to see Weapon Rogue sneak up a lot as we start to narrow down the field.
Yeah.
As we're going to get towards, you know, the top, the later rounds, top 16, that we're going to see a couple weapon rogues in there, despite weapon rogue players being less represented. But to be fair, it's not often that much damage comes out that quickly, right? That was 15 cards left in the deck for BabyBear. The only card draw was the Silverleaf Poison, no Cutting Class, no Secret Passage, no nothing, and had both Sinister Strikes, both Wicked Stabs. So that doesn't happen all the time, and Zhym was quite close. But, I mean, that's what Weapon Rogue is designed to do. So
Right, like, you can say it was all the damage at the top of the deck. If it wasn't damage, it was the card draw, all of which cost 1 or 0 mana at that point anyway, with the Cutting Class and the Secret Passages. It's like saying, oh, my Demon Hunter opponent drew the combo on turn 7 because all their skulls were at the bottom of the deck. Like, they're going to combo you anyway, whether it's the card draw or the actual damage at the top anyway. It doesn't make a difference. So
yeah, but
I think,
it costs more.
Right.
You have to spend all 7 mana to kill you instead of 4 of it.
What a terrible place in which to be, TJ.
Oh wait, I thought I said it was Token Druid, but I wasn't even. I wasn't looking at the right list. It's Clown Druid.
Right. Well, this makes a lot more sense, because I was going to say if it was Token Druid, I would have some questions about BabyBear's strategy, because quite clearly it is a leave Priest up, target Priest strategy, and Token Druid is a terrible matchup into Priest. Clown Druid is a fantastic matchup into Priest, so all of a sudden his strategy makes a lot of sense and has, honestly, a lot of merit, because this Clown Druid, despite being like one of my pet peeves as like least favorite decks of all time, I went on a 2.5-hour losing streak with this Clown Druid once. Not this build, it was a pre-rotation, but still, I cannot win a game with this deck. I do appreciate it from a lineup standpoint, where it does a very good job against Priest, and even though it can be run over in the early game by the some of the aggro decks, Token Druid as well, it does what it's supposed to do very, very well.
Yeah, it's a very interesting list. But yeah, it does make more sense. Token Druid, not that great against Priest. Honestly, I just kind of said Token Druid because I've just been automatically saying Token Druid whenever I see Token Druid, even though I have the list right here and it's very obviously the Clown Druid. Just didn't come to expect it. And, you know, Target Priest strategy, it's one of the most brought classes to the Masters Tour. So the problem is that you're sacrificing, by bringing these hyper-targeted strategies, you're sacrificing a lot of percentage points in other matchups. Yeah. And Clown Druid, unless they draw Wild Growth or Overgrowth, they do nothing.
Right.
Until, you know, turn 5, cool, you play a 5-drop that has no immediate effect on the board. Or turn 8 when you can get the Primordial or Guardian Animals out. At which point you very well could be dead. But if you hit the ramp early on, you just get big stuff, real big.
It's just big dudes. It's what the deck does. And, you know, in all honesty, I do believe that it's not a good deck. If you play this on ladder, unless you're Pheno, who manages to hit the nuts every time he plays this deck, you will not have a lot of success with it. But because of what BabyBear is designing her lineup to do, I do see it as a very valid inclusion. And even in this matchup, where there's many minions that have to be removed on the warrior side, Rakara, if you don't kill it, you lose. The Runthak, if you don't kill it, you lose. So many others as well. Even factoring that in, if you hit the ramp and you get ahead with Guardian Animals at the start, you are going to win that game.
Well, whatever comes back from this Mulligan is going to paint us a picture of how this match is going to go.
Let's see, Nature Studies, Wild Growth, Overgrowth. Nice and clean.
Mwah!
I think I think Rakara is a very valid keep. You're expecting to be ahead on the board as warrior, and well, one out of 3 ain't bad. You're expected to be ahead, and that is when Rakara really shines. Oh! Okay, 2 out of 3.
Mwah!
They cannot stop my work.
Delicioso.
Molto bene. Yeah, it's a good hand. It's a very, very good hand with Guardian Animals available 2 turns after the overgrowth with a corrupted strongman as well. Honestly, Warrior really struggles to fight back against that much explosivity on the board.
Yeah. He said 2 turns after the overgrowth, so casually.
Oh no, wait, it would be 3, never mind.
It's like, oh, trust me. Oh, she's going to get there.
Well, I mean...
Play a ramp, and then wait 2 whole turns.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
She gets Twilight Runner in the meanwhile, and Zhym obviously got very lucky by getting exactly Crab Rider off of the uncorrupted stage dive. I don't know.
Oh, just 2 more turns.
Why am I casting with you? I still remember that day, all those years ago. Hey, Derek, I've been loving your casting recently. Do you want to come up and cast an HCT event? Yes, I'd love to, TJ. That sounds great. Bald. Idiot.
They cannot stop my
Haters gonna hate.
It's one way of framing it, but on this particular turn for Zhym, this Rikara is just putting in absolute work. This is the card at its most disgusting power level. It's just an absurd card when you see it in action like this.
Oh, yeah.
And this is exactly what you do against Druid. You punish them for not interacting with the board.
Yeah. BabyBear honestly needs... Oh, Lightning Bloom, that's good.
Oh, that's huge.
Okay, I like Zhym's positioning here with the powerful minions in the middle and then the imprisoned minion in the middle of the middle.
I thought you were going to say you like his positioning in the camera, looking like a dog staring you in the face, waiting for snacks. Oh, but this positioning, to be fair, is insane. It's a lot. It's very, very difficult for Druid, for Warrior to come back against this. More Channelie, even with a swing, doing absolutely nothing. Overlord Runthak can buff up your Samuro, and then if you top deck Conditioning, maybe you can swing the board back that way with a huge Samuro swing.
The one good thing for Zhym is that BabyBear's going into a 6-mana turn, which is...
Right.
not necessarily the most impactful for Clown Druid.
Oh, I mean, you'd happily...
But, joke's on you.
Oh.
There's a Lightning Bloom.
Okay, I was going to say Moonfang is good enough. That's obviously absolutely absurd. You will gladly take a 10-drop.
And then you can Moonfang next turn. Moonfang ain't going anywhere. Oh, wow. Okay.
Really? I guess if you are afraid of exactly massive Samuro, even then.
Wait.
Felt like a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Because there's no way of corrupting the clowns anyway, and clown is significantly less impact than the 8-8 anyway.
Yeah.
Or the protector, sorry.
Because you could play Moonfang this turn. But I guess it's clowns all the way down.
Yeah, I guess Taunt is
like conditioning, please.
Pretty big impact. You don't just want to tank damage turn after turn. And if you go Bloom Protector, maybe you run out of ways to taunt.
Yeah. Oh, he's got to go for Mini Blade Master.
That's pretty good.
Just doesn't feel like it cleans up enough. Wait, actually,
yeah, it cleans up quite a lot.
Yeah, he gets to actually push damage here.
It's Set up for Alex Straza off the top for lethal. I like the sound of that.
Well, I mean, he's got Ringmaster next. Right. If he survives.
That was pretty sick.
Okay.
Speak to me, Teach.
I don't know. I was thinking I would have liked getting the extra face damage in and leaving a minion up, but I suppose that's just slightly too risky of a strategy. Because then you take more damage, more likely to be a counter lethal. Now,
So BabyBear,
don't think has an out.
yeah, she does not have to bloom hero power because she's not dead yet, obviously, to Alex Straza, and she wants to be able to go survival of the fittest for the win next turn, and that's exactly what she's going to do to get the win. It was close from Zhym to be in the end there. I didn't think he'd get that close, but he knows it's just over.
Yeah, knows the 10 mana spells in hand because of the previous turn, so wow, Clown Druid taking a win against Rush Warrior. Maybe it's not a target pre-strategy after all. Maybe it's just a target all of the good decks strategy. Not really though, because that was a Lightning Bloom or an Overgrowth away from just being disastrous. If her card was left on the board for one more turn, it would have been over. Even if it was less impactful Beast pulled from the Guardian Animals, it could also have been over with how close it was for Zhym there. But BabyBear now with a very unique lineup. 2-0 over Zhym.
In a good spot now, I believe, with only Mage left, if I'm correct, given that Priest was banned out of the way. It's a fairly standard build, all things considered. I think there's no Deck of Lunacy in there, which I am definitely coming round to. I was very critical of the players who didn't include Deck of Lunacy directly after the nerf, but now that we've seen it in action a little bit more, you realize that the deck is kind of just better most of the time when you don't have Deck of Lunacy, because you draw so efficiently, deal so much damage, assuming you hit Incanta's Flow, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But it's one of those things where beating a Mage 3 times in a row is a difficult task. We've actually seen some reverse sweeps, though, against Mage specifically. We saw one on stream earlier today with Luna. I've been seeing players tweet about it, that I'm just not drawing flow and I'm getting run over with my spell Mage.
Yeah.
But it's still very unlikely to do it 3 times in a row, even if you have 3 decent matchups, because at some point they're going to hit that flow, and then it's going to be lights out. So, BabyBear, putting your faith in the last deck here. I like the way the deck's constructed. Double ring toss with a single secret in Netherwind Portal, and double combust. It seems to be, I wouldn't call it standard, right? Because I feel like there's an even amount of players that kind of split the 3 drops or play Ice Barrier or play Shooting Star instead or go 1 ring toss, but I like these kind of clean lists.
Me too. I mean, honestly, I kind of like having a secret in the deck just because there's enough secret synergy minions that you can get off Font of Power that having even just one in your deck with Arcanologist, Apexis, Smuggler, whatever it may be, feels like there's niche usage in addition to the fact that it's just a pretty good card most of the time. Against the Warrior, though, however, have you noticed any specific game plan emerging from either side as to how you should approach this? Because obviously the Mage is kind of just looking for Incanta's Flow, but for the Warrior, there's this constant dynamic of whether you just tempo out minions versus trying to set up for this big buff turn on turn 5 or 6 and then develop onto the board.
Depends on your hand, but I've always been of the mindset that you just make them have it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you try and wait and give them time and you're just trying to go for these big board swings, it's going to get devolving missiles. It's going to be the same size anyway. So trying to put them on the clock, make them have it, force them to spend mana on the removal early on. That's where I've been having the most success with Rush Warrior versus Mage. Because sometimes you can get things to stick, or you can interrupt their game plan enough to where the turn they have to draw cards, you can capitalize on it. But I'm just not a huge fan of Rush Warrior as it is, Derek.
Me neither, TJ. I like it, I appreciate it for what it is, but I have not been seeing its power, to be honest, unless you're against exactly Rogue, as feels like one of its best matchups. All the rest, like, I feel like I never have a good hand is the problem. Like, with Rogue, you know, oh, great, I got the Man-Crick, Octobot, I have a good tempo hand. With Mage, brilliant, I drew my encounters flows. I'm never happy with a Warrior hand, which just indicates to me that they're not doing powerful enough stuff in the early game.
Gotta find a way to fit more powerful cards in the deck then. If they're not doing powerful enough stuff. Maybe some Guardian Aug Merchants. That seems to solve every problem. When in doubt, Guardian Aug Merchant. Everything needs a little bit of a divine shield in their life. But here we go. Rush Warrior again for Zhym, getting one of the tough matchups out. All right, 3-0.
Yeah.
Fun series, Derek.
Fun
Get
working
ready for
with
the
you
rest of our round 3 coverage.
It is looking that way, isn't it? Ringmaster Watley kept. I mean, it kind of goes against what you were saying is tempo at the start, but it is just consistently one of the higher win rate cards, especially when on the coin, so I don't begrudge him for it at all.
Zim just saw a 2-keep and is like, oh no.
Mon
What have I
Dieu.
done? Oh mon Dieu.
Yeah, it's, you know it's coming, but it still hurts every time. Okay, he's got Parade Leader, Coin Crab Rider into Rakara. If they don't have an answer to this, you're pushing a lot of damage. I like the sequencing here from Zim to just go again. Maximum pressure. Force them to have it.
Oh, it says explode!
Okay. You like to see that if you're Zim?
Oh! Imagine thinking this gets to attack. Imagine. I'm slamming this down every day. I don't want to tank 6 on this turn.
I don't even know what to say right now.
BabyBear's just got the goods. She drew it this game.
Okay. Get some good minions. All right, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, you're always happy to see a Star Scryer just to make sure that no matter what, the card draw keeps on coming. As there are, I mean, just so many ways that you can clear this off here.
Yep. Like the double 2-drop into Brain Freeze. So now Zim has to worry about dealing with these minions. And currently, he doesn't even have a playable card in hand.
Oh.
And Stage Dive uncorrupted to hit a nice bumper car. Oh mon Dieu.
It is happening again. You're rushing into the Fallen Hero, right? Like, the way this hand works out, you don't want to just save all your Dark Moon Riders, and you want to make sure that maybe there's a chance that if you don't kill off this spell, they brick on the draw, and they don't have something insane to play. But there's the card draw. And a Pexus Blast with all this burn as well. Like, it may not seem like it given that it's Warrior, but this deck is very susceptible to burn damage.
Yes. They don't really gain armor, they don't gain life. They have some taunts, but against spell damage, that doesn't matter. They have the armor of Pure Power, but they don't want to spend their mana. 2 mana every turn, not impacting the board whatsoever. So, yeah, very susceptible to burn. This seems like a pretty easy, just a Pexus Blast and keep on rolling. Keep pushing the 3 from the Star Scryer.
Oh, look at that. That is a 5-drop.
Yeah, feel like I say that every time there's a 5-drop. 99% of 5 drops, you're like, oh yeah. No, that right there, that's a 5-drop.
That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Whereas the 2 5-drops in Zhym's hand, nah, those aren't 5-drops.
Nah. Oh yeah. that right there, that is a 5-drop.
That really runs my thack.
Sure does.
And again, I am just seeing nothing here for Zhym. This whole hand is so clunky. Like, he has a full hand, so conditioning is a way to swing the board back next turn. But how do you even set up for that? Like, do you go bumper car first to give yourself 2 more 1/1s? Because the 1/1 rushes are the only things that actually benefit even from having the extra buff at the moment. Everything else is too slow.
He's just gonna die.
He's just dead.
There's 10 damage on board. If you're taking 10 damage from minions against Spell Mage, I don't even know. I've never
Get out.
I've never seen them. You should just go. Go to your room. Go sit under your bunk bed.
Yeah.
You get burned.
It's a little bit
again,
more
I mean, it's all very well sequenced from BabyBear. I think she's doing the best job in, to be fair, what is a pretty easy situation, but just capitalizing on the advantage she's got, putting max pressure on the board every turn, making sure that everything that can go face does end up being pointed to the face, and yeah, quite clearly getting in a situation that should just wrap it up next turn.
Yep.
That's clear.
I mean,
Sometimes.
depending on the secrets.
Yeah. It's probably not, to be honest, because pretty much every combination of secrets here in some way stops it from being a clear.
What if you go Shield of Honor first?
And then it's not counterspell, and you cry.
Oh my god. I mean,
Okay, now you can see it.
Impossible.
Yeah, it was tough to try and wade your way through all those secrets, but in the end for Zhym, I think we could see it didn't matter what he would do there. It's a funny way to end things, but realistically, it was just over in one of the quickest series that we've had all day today, and one of the most one-sided. Like, Zhym couldn't even get his foot in the door there.
no. I mean, I said BabyBear just has 3 opportunities to get 1 win with Mage. Just so happens she did it quite handily on the first try.
Oh, yes.
A little bit of help from the Ruined Orb there to kill off that Crab Rider. Could have been a different game, though not so much, since BabyBear ended with even a bunch of removal tools in hand to try and deal with board states with Combustion and Devolving Missiles. So not too bad. But BabyBear, nice 3-0 to end her day 1.